Welcome to another episode of the weekly Greenback Rundown. Last week, another busy week for the Pratt High Greenbacks. Everybody in action, and it started Tuesday in Halstead with basketball. The Lady Greenbacks would enter that ball game 5-2 on the season, taking on the 7-0 Halstead Dragons. It would be a tough night for the Lady Greenbacks, but honestly, it was the best game I'd seen the Greenbacks play all season long. They came away with the loss, but I told Coach Hildebrand that afterwards. Ended up losing the ball game 55-49, but it was the best the Greenbacks had looked as a whole. They were missing Kate Jackson in that ball game also, so down a player from normal, but a good night against a very tough opponent. Some stats in that ball game: Ellie Schmidt and Quinn Tebow came away with 16 points apiece in that ball game, and I talked with Coach Hildebrand post-game about just building off of that positive performance and where you go from here.
Yeah, we came out and just flat out competed. I told them I was so proud of how they worked. Obviously, being a girl down with Kate out, and so, you know, just being dog tired, fatigued the whole game. A team that presses the whole game. You know, we did a lot of great things. You know, both teams kind of died. You know, were getting down, and fatigue was hitting them. You know, in that second half, but. You know, we came out and just competed and just blow to blow. We got ourselves in a position where at the end of the game, that's what you want. You know, 4 points with a minute and a half, that's what you take against a ranked team, you know. What we talked about is we got to build on it now. Like, you can't, hey, yeah, we played hard, played great against this ranked team, got ourselves close, you know, be proud of that. We got to realize, hey, then that's an everyday thing. That's an every game thing. And if we do that, we're going to rack up the wins. You know, they've obviously beat, you know, a handful, you know, a few of the league teams already. So if we can compete with them, then we should be able to go out and compete with most of our league teams as well. So we got to build on, like you said, you know, early on we're with Kate out, you know, that press. We had Quinn throwing it in. We have girls kind of maybe in different positions a little bit and getting adjusted. But, yeah, once we kind of got in our groove, did pretty good. You know, they really tried to take away Quinn and Hope in the little two-man game, so we adjusted, set an extra screen for Hope. That kind of worked for a while. And they just flat-out defended us, you know, down the stretch, and it really made everything tough. But like you said, like we worked hard. We put ourselves in a position, and you know, a couple shots here or there, you know, could have been a different ball game.
Yeah. Next up was the boys. They entered that ball game 5-2 against the 4-3 Halstead Dragons, and they would come away with a big win, 67-41. Your score in that ball game, led by junior Arlie Morrell, had 29 points, 16 rebounds, and Caleb Strong chipping in for 13 points as well. The boys improved to 6-2 on the season. Halstead drops to 4-4 on the season. Talked with Coach Batten post-game about the offense and how it seemed to flow through Morrell most of the night. Took advantage of that mismatch.
But, you know, in all honesty, yeah, I mean, everybody that plays this knows that our offense runs through him. And then we've got a lot of guys that have been stepping up from night to night in different roles. And, you know, Creston Poor came in tonight in the first half, hit 2 of 2 from 3. And you know, I felt like gave us some really good minutes. I think he even got a layup in there, you know, and so, you know, gave us kind of a little spark there to kind of get the offense going a little bit. And then in the second half, you know, Caleb stepped up on a couple of threes. Owen got to the rim a couple times, and then Kyler Barker got to the rim a couple times, you know, in crucial situations. And those were situations where, you know, we kind of had a 12-point lead, and then we went back-to-back buckets, and now we're, you know, at 14-16, you know, and then all of a sudden we push it out to 20, and that's what you have to do. You got to get a stop and then get those easy ones. And so I was very happy with our guys, and you know, they stepped up at the right times and took opportunities and made the most of them. Yeah, these guys are a lot of fun to coach, I'll tell you that. But, you know, I'm hard on them in practice about our intensity. And you know, we beat each other up pretty good in practices someday. And so to see them come out and, you know, just stay locked in, stay focused, I was really happy with that and their defensive effort and just the way they stayed connected tonight. I thought that, you know, we didn't offer up a lot of easy shots, and that's, I think, a big credit to our guys and their defense.
We'll keep it with basketball. Hoisington Cardinals came to town on Friday, a big matchup in the CKL for the Greenbacks. The girls come away with a win 50-43 in that ball game, and a career night for sophomore Kate Jackson. She went 7 of 10 from beyond the arc for 26 points, 7 3-pointers. tied the school record, puts her in the record book alongside teammate Hope Hughes, and then Lexi Walker and Stephanie Thompson had 7 3-pointers in a ball game as well. Quinn Tebow with 11 rebounds on the night, had a good night on the offensive and defensive boards, and talked with Coach Hildebrand postgame about that career night from Kate Jackson.
We knew they're looking at it like a box and one or maybe even a triangle and two. So I was really anticipating a triangle and two because I'm thinking, Kate can knock him down, and we know it. She's gone off. You leave her open. So I was really anticipating the triangle and two, not a box and one. And so I go, hey, she was hesitant the very first box and one, and she hesitated. Then she finally shot the other one and got blocked because she hesitated. I'm like, what are you hesitating for? You're a shooter. Shoot it. And so, and I told her, I go, and I can't remember if it was halftime or in the timeout, and I go, hey, if they're going to do that on Hope, so be it, because Kate's going to end up with 7 threes and 21 points. Well,
you were right on half of that.
So I'm like, she's going to knock him down. There's no way they can't just leave her open. She's, so yeah, great game for her. Good, after kind of having to sit out, and I know she hated to sit out and to come back and have a great game for her. So great shots, and she hit a big one here. They kept scrapping around, hitting shots, and that big three there extended. Kind of to get it to, I think, maybe 2 or 3 possessions versus, or 3 or 4 versus that 2 possession look, and that was kind of helped us kind of settle in there towards the end and just kind of wave it, weather it out.
Now on to the boys. The 6-2 Greenbacks taking on the 3-5 Hoisington Cardinals. Talking with Coach Batten before that game, he said it was going to be a slow-paced game. Hoisington likes to slow things down, take you out of their rhythm. And that's exactly what they did. At the end of the first quarter, 8-3 was your score. Cardinals on top. It was a low-scoring affair. Continued to be that way through the second quarter. 15-14 was your halftime score. The Greenbacks trailed by 1 and outscored the Cardinals 30-17 in that second half. Scoring led once again by Morrell. He had 16 points, 13 rebounds. Caleb Strong also filling up the stat sheet with 13 points, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. It was also mini cheer night on Friday night, so a lot of young cheerleaders out there with the varsity cheerleaders at halftime. Made for a big crowd. It always does. That gets everybody in the stands. Talked with Coach Batten post-game after that win just about how they fought through that slow, methodical type of defense that Hoisington wanted to play.
Honestly, that's just the way they play. They've played that way all year. I've watched a ton of film on them, and I knew that, they're just patient, and they know their strengths, and they're playing to it. And Kyle's a really good coach, man. He gets these guys ready, and they got athletes that can guard. And, you've seen them on the football field, how they just, they can get after it, and they got good athletes, and they were able to get in our shorts a little bit and really guard, and caused us a lot of problems. And in the first half we were really stagnant and weren't moving the ball worth a darn, and finally second half we got a little more aggressive and got the ball where it needed to go, and then some guys knocked down some big shots on the perimeter, and so all around it was a big team win.
After both teams picking up wins Friday night against Hoisington, they head into this week for the 2025 Hoisington Winter Jam. Monday night, they both picked up a pair of wins, and that'll put them in the winner's bracket for Friday. The girls will play at 3:30 on Friday, boys to follow at 5 o'clock, and a win then puts them into the championship game on Saturday. So another busy week for Coach Batten and Coach Hildebrand in that 2025 Winter Jam. On to wrestling. Didn't have a chance once again this week to get down and interview Coach Miller and Coach Brown, but they gave me the updates on where their squads were at. On the boys' side with Coach Brown, his squad was split up. Windsor and Wilson went to the 62nd Annual Tournament of Champions in Newton, the toughest tournament in the state. Usually champions in the weight classes in that tournament turn around to be state champions as well. And a good outing for senior Tay Wilson. He keeps his undefeated season alive, picks up his second title in that tournament at the 175 weight division this year, goes undefeated. And Blake Windsor also a good outing, finished 5th, going 5-2 on the weekend in Newton, a hard-fought battle for Windsor. On the other side of the boys, the rest of the squad was in Clearwater, where Coach Brown said Sebastian Beach had a great day, finished 2nd, at Clearwater. Also wanted to note that Alex Chavez is really on the up and coming. Coach Brown saying how proud he was of Chavez and where he was heading with his trajectory this season. It'll be a busy couple weeks for the Greenbacks coming up. Coach Brown and his squad in 3 two-day tournaments in the next 3 weeks. So a lot of time on the mat before they get prepared for regionals and hopefully state. This week, Coach Brown and his boys will be at Cimarron and Beloit, another split squad for the boys wrestlers. On to girls wrestling. The girls were at Hayes this past week. 22 teams in that tournament. The girls came away with a 13th place finish as a team. Individual medalists, Alex Pedroza with a 5th place finish, Gabby Cervantes with a 6th place finish, Liz Stymate 6th place, and Taylor Creddick 6th place as well. When I asked Coach Miller any outstanding performances on the day or anybody that really shined, he said Pedroza had a great day. She had an early loss on the front side and then came back and tech-falled her opponent for a 5th place finish. Also said Taylor Creddick battled back after facing an Ellenwood opponent in the first round and had gotten pinned by her, met up with her on the backside in the 5th place match, lost that one, but only by a score of 12-9, and was really proud of the way that Creddick had battled back. Coach Miller also noting that some of his wrestlers not able to make this trip this week, missed out with Candia, Hembry, Webb, and Rawlings, so some of their more veteran wrestlers not at this Hayes tournament, and said they faced a lot of new competition in this tournament. Also some difference in travel times, just a lot of adversity last week. A good test for his girls before they gear up for regionals and state as well. Their next action will be Friday at Nickerson, JV and varsity, both on the mat. And that's going to wrap up another episode of the weekly Greenback Rundown. Tune in next week. We'll have more Greenback action.